Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Civil Stuff by Wahid. Welcome back to another part 2 in the design of steel structures introduction part. So in the earlier classes we have seen what are the different rigid frameworks steel structures and what are the different structural members, what are the physical and mechanical properties, and we have seen the different types of steel rolled steel sections and importance of IS 800 2007 and steel tables. So today's class we discuss regarding the types of rolled steel sections along with their designation and the importance of each section where we use. Coming to the rolled steel I section, this will be most probably will be used as a beams. Okay, coming to how they are designated. The designation of I section is along with the series with their depth with the weight per meter length. Not only I section, every rolled steel section will be designated with the series and depth and along with the weight per meter. This is the I section. We call this as a flange width, thickness of flange, web, and one more flange at the bottom. Okay, now here this is the depth of the web and thickness of the web. Overall depth is nothing but H, which is used in the designation ISMB, that is a series along with the depth at the rate weight in newtons per meter length. This complete details will be given in steel table book. Okay, now here the different types of rolled steel sections I sections are here. ISMB. IS means what? In everything it will be standing for Indian Standard Medium Beams. Indian Standard Medium Beams. Okay, next Indian Standard Junior Beams. Next one is Indian Standard Lightweight Beams. Next one is Indian Standard Heavy Beams. Next, Indian Standard Wide Flange Beams, means flanges will be wider, so wide flange beams. Now here this is Indian Standard Column Sections. SC means here it's column sections, but the designations will be only SC, not ISSC, because in rolled steel C sections ISSC is nothing but Indian Standard Special Columns. So for the to avoid the confusion, if I am using rolled steel I section of column section, it has to be designated as ISSC. Okay, and we'll see the next slide regarding the Indian Standard channel sections. Here also the channel section designation will be same as in case of a I section, that is series along with the depth and with the weight per meter. Now what is this ISJC means? Same as usual, Indian Standard Junior Channel. Next one is Indian Standard Light Channel. Next one is what? Indian Standard Medium Weight Channel. And this one is what? Just now I said you, Indian Standard Special Channel. Okay. So here also same, this is the thickness of a web, thickness of the flange, TF, TW, overall depth, and this is the web portion we call, this is the flange portion, right? Next one, rolled steel T sections. Okay, now this is a overall width of your T section with a thickness of flange, and this is what? Thickness of web, and this is overall depth. Okay, now how they are designated means same as usual, series with the depth followed by weight per meter length. Now what is this ISJT means? Junior T bars, junior T, light T, okay, heavy flanged T, heavy flanged T bars. Next one is what? Standard, Indian standard special legged, what is called as special legged T bars. And next one is what? Last one, normal, Indian standard normal T bars. So these are the three important things. And next we'll see the angle sections. Okay, so here the angle sections are designated as equal angle sections, unequal angle sections. If I go for the equal angle means both legs will be of same sizes. If it is not so, we call it as what? Unequal angle sections. So this is the leg length of 60 mm, for example 60 mm, and this is 8 mm. So how we are designating? ISA 60 by 60 by 8 mm. And coming to here, unequal angle section, this is one is, say for example 60, next one is what? 90. How they will be designating? ISA 90 by 60 by 8 mm. So this is the designation of angle section. Now where we use these angle sections means in case of a members carrying tensile loads and members carrying the compressive loads. Example, trusses. In trusses you will be using these angle sections as principal rafter, what? Struts, tie members, etc. Everything will be using. So a tie member is a tension member, strut member is a compression member. The members carrying load is different, but the material used is same, that is angle section. So depending upon the loading conditions we call that as a tension member or compression member, but as per by seeing we can say it is an angle section. As per geometrical shape that will be an angle section, but depending upon the loading conditions they have been categorized as what? Tension member, compression member. Means if a member is carrying tensile load we call it as a tension member, if a member is carrying compressive load we call it as a compression member. The way of designating with respect to loading is different, but geometrical properties, as per geometrical properties it is an angle section, right? Now coming to the rolled steel bars. Now these are solid one. Rolled steel bars are solid, which are available in square shape or rounded shape. The how they are designated? Indian standard square shaped. Okay, Indian standard square means it will be 16 means what is this 16? It's a dimension 16 square means what? Four sides will be same, right? So the dimensions will be designated means IS Indian standard square shaped of 16 mm. Now Indian standard rounded of 20 means the diameter is 20. Okay. Next one is what? Rolled steel hollow. Rolled steel hollow means what? Okay. You will be having a borehole shape. means inner diameter will be there, outer diameter will be there. They are generally having classes like light, medium and heavy. Light, medium and heavy, they are designated as what? With respect to nominal bore size. Nominal bore size. So this is regarding the Indian standard tubes. Coming to the next slide, that is rolled steel plates, flats and sheets. Now what is the difference between these three? Okay, if it is designated with its length, width and its thickness, that is considered as what? A plate. Next, if a member is designated as width and only thickness, not length, it is called as a flat. Now, if a member whose width and thickness is considered, it is also called as what? Sheet. But when we call this as a sheet and when we call it as a flat, means if a member whose thickness is to be less than 5 mm, we call it as a sheet. And if a member whose thickness is exceeding greater than 5 mm, we call it as a flat. Okay, so how they are designated means ISPL, Indian Standard Plate Section, of length, width, depth. Means suppose for example length of 2000, width of 1000 and thickness is 16 mm, like that. And a flat means what? Greater than 5 mm thickness and it is designated with width means 200 by 8 mm. Suppose 100 by 3 mm, it is a sheet. 200 by 8 mm, it is a flat. Okay, so these are the some of the different types of rolled steel sections which we'll be using in our day-to-day construction field. Now here the geometrical properties I have discussed in the earlier class, that the properties such as what? Cross-sectional area, its weight, its dimensions, its centroid, moment of inertia, radius of gyration, section modulus properties, all these are available in what? Steel table book. So without steel table book, we are not able to solve any type of problems. Okay. Now we'll continue the next topic, that is design methodologies in the design of steel structures. Okay, so earlier there used to be a method known as a working stress method. There is a method known as what? Working stress method. The working stress method, the code of this working stress method is to be IS 800 1984. Okay, 1984. Okay, now this working stress method is based upon elastic theory. What is this theory called as? Elastic theory. Okay, now here in this, service loads are to be considered. Service loads are to be taken into consideration. Because of this one, what happens in working stress methods, mostly uneconomical sections are developed. Uneconomical sections are to be developed because Fi is limited. Fi is yield strength. Fi is to be limited to maximum, means a member, even though it is carrying suppose some 90 Newton per mm square, we used to consider it as some 30 Newton per mm square. Based upon that one only, the size of the member is to be increased. Okay, this is regarding just introduction I am giving regarding the working stress method. Okay, at present we are using what method? Limit state method. Okay, Here the permissible stress in working stress method is what? Permissible stress is equals to yield stress by factor of safety. Okay, the next other method used to be used is, what is that method called as? Ultimate load method. What is that? Ultimate load method. This is to be used in the earlier. This is based upon what? Plastic theory. Okay, here strength is the major criteria, means strength is considered, but serviceability is not considered. Whereas here serviceability is considered, strength is not considered. So this is regarding the basic knowledge of working stress and limit state method, ultimate load method. Next we'll see what is this limit state method. So limit state method, this is the method at present we are using. For this method we are supposed to use what? IS 800 2007. Okay, IS 800 2007 is the code book for limit state method. Here this is based upon the reliability based method, that is probabilistic approach. Probabilistic approach means what? We'll be using the word it may be occur, like that we'll be using, right? So that is fortune, what is going to happen will be predicting before only. Okay, so this method is very safety to withstand all kinds of loads that may act on the structure under considering during its lifetime. During its lifetime means any structure throughout its lifetime, whatever we have considered, it will be withstanding all the kinds of loads, is nothing but called as limit state method. And this limit state method has been categorized into limit state of collapse, which is also known as the strength, and limit state of serviceability. Coming to the limit state of strength, we will be designing in case of limit state of strength. Here limit state of serviceability will be checking it. Now what factors will be checking under serviceability and what factors will be designed in the collapse, we'll see. So the factors affecting the limit state of collapse are stability and fatigue. Stability. Okay, what is this fatigue? Continuous reversal of stresses that may occur in the member due to increase or decrease in the loading or changing in the loading condition, means compression to tension, tension to compression. If I take a bridge, when the vehicle is moving, it undergoes to tension, and the vehicle is not moving, only vacant is there, it will be compression, like that. So that is fatigue in nature you will be going to design. Okay, and the factors which are affecting as per IS 800 2000 is equilibrium conditions, that is overturning, sliding, like that we'll be checking, right? Next, excessive deformation, okay, and brittle failure. These are the things will be considered while designing the limit state of collapse. Coming to the serviceability, you have to check for vibrations, corrosion, and durability. These are all the checks only. We won't go for the design, we'll be checking it. Okay, we'll be checking it. Coming to the different types of loads considered in the design of steel structures is, first and foremost is dead load. Okay, we'll see what are the codes also we are using. This is as per IS 875 part 1 1987. Okay, what you will be getting from this code means you will be getting the self weight, unit weights of that particular materials. So what is the unit mass of steel is 7850 kg per meter cube, as we seen in the earlier class physical properties, right? So here how to calculate the dead load of a particular member means, if you know dead load is nothing but what? Self weight. If I know the volume, if I multiply with the unit mass, I will be getting the self weight. That is what? Dead load. And the next load we consider is what? Imposed load, which is also a lie load. Okay, this is also from IS 875 code, but it is part 2 1987 same. Okay, here you will be having different types of loading conditions depending upon the type of structure, whether it is a residential, whether it is a commercial, like that, and what are the live loads you will be taking, right? Next, coming to this third one, it is wind load. Wind load, this is same as IS 875, but it is part 3 1987. Okay, now what you will be getting here? Wind load. Now how to calculate the wind load means, you will be having the basic wind speed of that particular area. So generally they have been divided the zones. Zones means same wind speed in the country has been categorized in one zone. Like that they have been categorized the different zones. So you have to choose the zone in which your structure is going to be constructed. So that basic wind speed multiplied with the factors K1, K2, K3. Okay, these are the risk coefficient, terrain coefficient, size and shape, structure coefficient, like that. So based upon that one, if you multiply with the basic wind speed, you will be getting the design wind load. And coming to the fourth one, what is the another type means what? Snow load. This is as per IS 875 part 4. Part 4. This is to be considered where you are going to construct the structure, and it has to be taken based upon the slope of a roof. Suppose if at all, if the slope of a roof it is exceeding 50 degrees, means this one is theta. If it is exceeding 50 degrees, then you can neglect the snow load, because much slope is there, it can be water may worn out, right? And next one is earthquake load. Okay, earthquake load, this is as per 1893 2002, and this load is just like horizontal load which will be acting on the structure. Okay, and what is that? Next one is erection load. Erection means at the time of execution. Erection loading, we call it as erection loading. This is during construction we'll be considering. Now where you can see means, suppose if I am going to construct a high tension. Okay, high tension means what? Heavy structure, right? You will be constructing like this. So up to some extent it is easy, but beyond that, what you have to do? You will be going on top. At the time, at the peak level or apex point of this one, you need to carry these members, which are heavy weight members, to that place. So for that, what you will be doing is you will be arranging a pulley at that particular place, and by using the rope you will be connecting this to some trailer. Okay, not trailer, tractor. Okay, so it will be moving forward, means this will be here, you will be tying the member which you are counting here. So at this one, this movement will be there, this rope will be going. So this type of loads is nothing but called as a erection loading. At the time of execution will be doing. Okay, next, accidental. Now what is this accidental? Accidental means what? All of a sudden it may happen, some impact, okay, some blasting like that you may occur. All these comes under the accidental loads. And temperature stresses. What is that? Temperature stresses. Now what is this temperature stresses mean? Suppose if I going to make a structure with the different members, I am going to use some connections, right? So if I use a welded connection at the joint, what happens? I will be using some fusion. Because of that, the stresses will be inside. Those are nothing but temperature stresses, right? So these are the some of the loads to be considered in the design. Next, load combinations. What are the different types of load combinations and classification of loads? We'll see in the next slide. That is classification. Based upon this one, classification of loads. So there are permanent, variable, accidental. Now which loads are to be considered permanent means some self weight, right? Self weight, okay, of a structure, and some fixed equipment is there. Those weight also is to be permanent. Okay. Next, variable means what? In the case of stage construction, as the stages increases, okay, what happens? Load is also going on increases. Some wind load, crane load, like that. Next, accidental, sudden vehicle impact. All these comes under what? Now here, load in case of steel we call it as a actions or loads. Both are nothing but what? Okay, what are direct actions and indirect? Direct and indirect actions. Okay, what is this acting? Self weight and some external load is nothing but called as what? Direct action. Okay, and indirect means what? This example, temperature stresses that are developing internally due to the loading or due to the connection making. All these comes are what? Indirect loading, right? Coming to the load combinations, how the load combinations will be used in case of steel structures. So the load combinations, partial safety factors, we'll see in the next chapter. That is next topic. Here the combination will be dead load plus live load, that is imposed load, or dead load plus live load plus wind load or earthquake load. Suppose if in an area you are getting wind load and at the same time earthquake load, higher of these two be considered as the load. Okay, next, combination of dead load and wind load, and in that area if earthquake load also there, you decide higher value to take into combination. Next, dead load plus erection load. These are the some of the load combinations you are supposed to take, right? So remaining topic we'll see in the next class. Thank you for watching my video. If you're watching my video for the first time, please do subscribe for more updates on this subject.